my name is Katelynn Carlock, and I'm currently a freshman this year at Del Tech. I'm double majoring in communications and elementary education, and I would like to talk to you a little bit about ethics. Ethics is the study of morality. Morality refers to the beliefs concerning rights or wrongs and good or bad. It's important to study ethics so you have reasons behind what you believe. You develop critical thinking skills and question why you believe certain things. Actions are defined as right or wrong, and people or things are good or bad. And it's super important to study ethics so that you not only question why you believe certain things, but also you question the world around you and whether or not you should accept or deny societal norms, or whether you should protest them if they're wrong, and really how to live a moral life and make right decisions. And Anyway, so doing ethics means to deliberate about the rightness or wrongness of actions, examining the soundness of your and other people's moral outlook, and questioning whether your moral decision making rests on coherent supporting considerations. The questions of ethics include: what is the greatest good? What goals should I pursue? And what virtues should I cultivate? And so on. There are three divisions of ethics. There's normative ethics, meta-ethics, and applied ethics. Normative ethics studies the principles, rules, or theories that guide actions, establishing the soundness of moral norms. Meta-ethics is the study of the meaning and logical structures or moral beliefs, and questioning assumptions that inform normative ethics, such as, is there such a thing as a moral truth? And then applied ethics is the application of moral norms to specific moral issues or cases. It's most often seen in the field of law or medicine. And an example of this is the question, is it moral? Is physician-assisted suicide moral? And so, that's an example of applied ethics. There are many different elements to ethics, one being the preeminence of reason, meaning that ethics involves critical reasoning. Another is the universal perspective. Ethics requires that moral judgments follow the principle of universality. The idea that a moral statement applying in one situation must apply to all other situations that are relevantly similar. There's no exceptions or special rules. And then the principle of impartiality, which states that the welfare and interests of each individual should be given the same way as all others. Again, with the no exceptions. They should all be equal. For it to be a moral statement, like a moral code. And then the dominance of moral norms. When moral norms conflict with non-moral norms, the moral considerations win. So if it's a moral norm versus law, the moral norm is the right thing. It's going to win. It's what you should do, despite what the law says. Yes. Ethics enables productive discourse. Only with a common set of agreed upon procedures for deciding issues and making judgments can people from different religions or people who aren't religious have fruitful discussions about moral issues. Moral reasoning is careful, systematic evaluation of statements and arguments. A statement is something that is stating that something is claiming that something is true or false. And an argument is a collection of these statements, with one being supported by the rest. The one being supported is the conclusion, and the ones doing the supporting is the premises. And there's two types of arguments. There's deductive and inductive, and deductive arguments are supported by conclusive conclusions. And so they are, as I said, either valid or invalid. and inductive are either strong or weak, and they are supported by probable conclusions. So yeah, that's a little intro to ethics. And yeah, it's very, very important. It's very important in all fields, but in the fields that I'm going into, so I'm double majoring in communications and elementary education, and I would like to either become a journalist, I'm thinking about being a book editor or a book publisher, going into that business, or becoming an elementary school teacher. And so in journalism, ethics is so important because you are making arguments that many people are going to see, and it's very important that you're making moral arguments and you have good moral reasoning, as well as you are making valid arguments, as well as not making fallacies when arguing against something else. So you're not strawmanning, you're not misrepresenting what you are arguing against so that your point seems like it makes more sense. That is wrong, first off. That's a wrong thing to do. But it also makes your point look weak because you are misrepresenting the other side. It's also important that you're not making a hasty generalization, that you're only taking two specific instances and writing a piece on a huge generalization, because what you write affects how people see things. So it's very important that you follow a strong ethical code when going into journalism, and it's very important for me that I have good ethical reasoning and know how to make moral decisions and know how to navigate ethics when writing pieces and making arguments. Also, becoming an elementary school teacher, I think it's very important to make ethical decisions when being around kids and having good reasoning behind what you do and what you believe is right, having valid reasons why, because kids ask the question why very often, and it's important that you give them reasons why and that you ask yourself those questions first, so you are strong and confident in what you do, and not being a hypocrite. It's very important that for me that I answer the question why with actual reasons and not just saying because I said so. If somebody's doing something wrong, it's important to explain why it is wrong, and that both you and who you're telling that it's wrong, that you both understand why, that you have good moral reasoning behind what you believe is right or wrong, or good or bad. And so yeah, I think ethics is very, very important in being a good person, and knowing how to make good decisions, standing behind your beliefs and having good arguments behind the decisions that you make. As well as whatever field you go into, I think it's very important to understand ethics and to study ethics. And whenever engaging in moral arguments, in productive discourse, that we are all working towards making right decisions and making moral decisions and just figuring out what is moral and immoral and trying to make the most moral, trying to make the most right actions and good things happen. So yeah, thank you for listening, and I hope you have a great day.